Convention isn't for everyone, and that's the point. It's the center of the hunting universe. February 18th through the 21st, Safari Club International's convention takes over Nashville's Music City Center with thousands of outfitters, premium gear, live high-stakes auctions, and conservation that actually backs the lifestyle. If you're built different, Safari Club International's convention is where your people are. Register now at safariclub.org and use TN Hunters 10 for 10% off registration.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the George Plaster Show. February 10th, 4 days from Valentine's Day. Football season is officially over. We are 5 weekends away from getting our March Madness brackets. Baseball season is starting up. Softball has already started. We're actually in the middle of the Winter Olympics right now as well. I just got done. For the first time in my life, I can confidently say as a man that I watched some women's ice hockey as the U.S. was taking on Canada. And last time I checked, they were in the second intermission break and the U.S. was up 4-0. So that's always a good thing when we're beating up on our little brother, Canada. It is 70 degrees outside. It is sunny. Another beautiful day. Another great show in store. We'll have Tony Basilio on at 3:20. We're going to get into this Charles Bediako deal. He has now been ruled ineligible for Alabama. I may have spoiled what is going to be kicking off my update, but that's okay. And we'll open up the phones at 4:25. We want to hear from you. We'll get into all the college basketball action. And with that, we will go out to Murfreesboro. But before we do that, I do want to remind you, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, The George Plaster Show, where you will get all of our shows, just in case that you may have missed some. You can go back and find some from a couple days ago, weeks ago, months ago. It's all there. So please make sure that you are subscribed to the George Plaster Show YouTube channel. Now we will go out to Murfreesboro, where we will welcome in Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, you're looking very alert, as always.
Always alert, Parker. What do you mean? I came out of the womb alert, Hoss. Come on now.
Oh, let's not lie to the audience here, Kelly.
I'm
We're
not
trying
lying.
to keep an honest show.
I'm always alert. Always. And
That's
Tony
good to hear.
Basilio likes to say, he doesn't feel like he's into it. He doesn't feel like he's focused today. That's a bunch of bull. He's full of a bunch of bull. We know that.
He is. I'm actually really excited to talk to him because his segment got cut very short last week because George came on to let us know what was going on with his voice. Ran into Tony's segment a little bit. So we'll go a little bit longer with Tony today.
Nice.
Are you enjoying the 70 degrees? Did you get out in the weather at all?
I did, yeah. I got out and swung the golf club a little bit, man. Felt good outside. I love it. I just don't understand these highs and lows, man. You know it's going to get cold again. And I first of all, when we had the ice storm, of course, the people in Nashville got hammered. They had it way worse than Murfreesboro. They had it way worse than, Franklin was bad too. But I can't stand when it gets that cold and when you have ice like that. That's ridiculous because I lived up north for 13 years. But this is wintertime and it's in February. And as much as I love the 70-degree day, like the temperature swings are getting a little crazy to me. Like it'll be 72 degrees and it'll be 30 in a couple of days. So I think it's supposed to stay like this for a little bit, but I don't like the cold weather anymore. I understand now why people that are up there in age are snowbirds. They live up north, and then in the wintertime they go to Florida because they don't like it. I totally get it now. I understand that because that's the way I am as well.
Well, living here my whole life, I'm kind of used to it. There was one winter we got 90 degrees in December, then it dropped right back down to cold, got warm again. I'm used to it at this point, but being in Chicago, winter starts in about October, and it goes all the way up until late April, And then boom, the start of May, it's like it's summertime. There's no transition whatsoever. So you get like 2 seasons. You probably get like 2 weeks of fall, and then it's straight winter.
They've gotten hammered. Like, people don't understand here because we're kind of like in the middle, and we can get cold, we can get hot, but like up in the Dakotas and Minnesota, up towards the New England, all those places up there. And my brother lives right outside of DC, man, and he was talking about how sick of winter he is because he said it's been so cold and we hadn't had this in a while. But like up north of us, has been getting hammered this year, and we've been kind of we had that one deal, but then after that, it's been pretty mild.
Yeah, I'm just fingers crossed that we can stay warm the rest of the year, but I'm not getting my hopes up. We'll have to see how it goes. Should we get into the update, Kelly? It's up to you today.
No, well, you have to get into the update because it's, as you say, it's America's favorite update.
It is America's favorite. I don't want to let the good people down. So with that, let's get into it. So last night, there was some college basketball action, Big Monday as they call it, and one of the lone undefeated teams in college basketball went down. Arizona. They lost to Kansas last night in the Fog, Allen Fieldhouse, 82-78. Kansas, I'm trying to tell people, one of the hottest teams in the country, a legit national championship contender. 2 of their biggest wins on the year came without their star player, who's projected to go first overall.
And didn't they do that without their freshman kid? That's the Jefferson kid. They did it without him.
Yeah,
absolutely unbelievable. Like you watch that, and that how do you say his name? The Bedangi kid or whatever. Like, he was killing it, man. Yeah, Badunga. Yeah, he was killing it last night. Like, and that was they got down in the middle of the game quite a bit, but they fought their way back. And wow, that was an incredible game.
It was phenomenal, and you could tell that Bill Self really loves this team. It's so weird how Kansas actually looks a little bit better without Darren Peterson, which is crazy. And I'm going to just toss this out there because I've asked the insiders about this, but I'm seriously worried about how this affects Darren Peterson's draft stock because he's missed so much time with injuries, whether it be cramps. This is more so he had flu-like symptoms, but with all the time that he's missed, I would be concerned if I was a scout, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's you got to be reliable when you get, everybody talks about that saying, but you have to be reliable. And if you're going to play and you're going to be a top-notch, unbelievably talented guy, you got to be on the field. That's what we talk about with quarterbacks all the time. You can't, play 2 games and be out for 5 and then play 3 games and be out for another 4. You just can't do that. You got to be reliable. And, that does when people start thinking about drafting young kids, they look at stuff like that. Are they reliable? Are they? Can you count on those guys to be in? And that's what I love about Cam Ward. I hate that he got hurt in the very last game, but like, he got beat up last year, but the guy is he's there, man. He's durable. And I think if they can get some guys around him, that's what you can count on. You can count on his durability and being in the lineup every week.
Some other college basketball action. Xavier and St. John's may have been one of the games of the night. It went to overtime. Xavier came into this thing 12-11. St. John's had won, I think, 10 in a row, maybe. But it's so entertaining because it's Rick Pitino versus Richard Pitino, his son. And this is the second time that they played. And they went to overtime. Xavier had a chance to win. St. John's held on. They're 19-5, 17 overall. And they got a big win over Xavier last night. And then, oh gosh. Kelly, you're gonna really enjoy this show. You're really gonna enjoy the show.
I saw that last night, man. When I was watching a game, I saw that come across the bottom screen, and I said, Parker, his bet of the day sucked.
I'm screwed. And I'm gonna recap it today. I promise you're gonna want to listen into that because
wasn't it 41 points?
Well, I'll save it for later. I've made a fool out of myself, and I'm going to respond the only way I know how. So tonight, we do have some more action. Nebraska, our beloved Cornhuskers, they're taking on Purdue tonight in Lincoln, literally an hour after we're done with the show. So if you're looking for something to watch, it's a top 13 matchup. North Carolina and Miami should be a good one. Miami's unranked, but they're 18-5, and I believe they're sitting on the 10 line in the NCAA tournament. This would only help boost that resume. Vanderbilt and Auburn squaring off at 6 o'clock from the Plains. We'll preview that at 4 o'clock. And Iowa State, TCU, some fun Big 12 action as well. This is what I wanted to get into. So Charles Bediako, his motion to play for Alabama of the rest of the season was denied. So he's ineligible. He's done.
I'm sure you're probably going to ask Tony about it. I will if you don't. But what does this do to your team? Like, you're bringing a guy on that played 3 years in the G League. He gets reinstated. He gets to play a couple of games, but there's always this up in the air. Well, is he going to be able to play? And he just found out that he's not going to be able to play. So, in the state of Alabama, it's going to be different now with these other guys that are trying to do that. That's in a different state. So is it going to be different rulings, or is this set a precedent? I don't know. Every state's different.
What I immediately thought of was this case is a little bit different from Charles Bediako, but Joey Aguilar, he has the temporary restraining order right now against the NCAA that is good until it was 15 days when he got it last week. So I'm not sure when that runs till, but he's going to have a ruling at some point. What does this mean? I know it's completely different cases here. And also too, I saw this tweet from John Rothstein, who covers college basketball for CBS, and he was talking about Alabama and how they would be viewed by the NCAA tournament committee. And I'm trying to find it. John Rothstein tweets a lot. But basically, he said that the NCAA tournament committee would grade Alabama based on the current roster that they had. So I don't know if this Bediako thing is going to factor into it at all. George said that their wins basically should not count if the games that Bediako played. They won 3 games with him there. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, man. It just throws everything up in the air. And if you're a coach, like, how do you are you just trying to? Do you know that you're just trying to use him for this specific amount of time, or is he trying to become a whole part of the team? Which I'm sure that he hoped that, but like, there's always that hanging over your head, like this may not work, and we might have to. He might not be eligible. So I don't know how you deal with that. There's so many things that coaches have to deal with now, but now with this, there's something else that's crazy.
Yep, it's a lot of craziness. So a lot of people have taken the opportunity to dunk on Will Campbell for his performance in the postseason. And trust me, we've talked about that as well. 3 hours ago, I saw that he suffered a torn ligament in his knee, and he wasn't 100% healthy for the playoffs. So I'm sure that factored into all this. But personally, Mike Vrabel, too, came out and said that they're not moving him to left guard, which I could have told you that Vrabel was going to say that. But I have faith in the young man. I think he's going to be all right. But this just goes to show context is very important.
It is very important. The thing that I didn't like, though, in the game was, and maybe it was because of the injury, because when you have an injury like that, man, that kind of really sucks, and it hinders you from being your best, obviously. And he's playing against a bunch of guys that are experienced veterans, but like, they kind of punked him a couple of times, and he had no fight back, and maybe – I don't know, man. Maybe it was because of the injury. That's, Coach Smith, when we had him on yesterday, he talked about quarterbacks, and he wanted to see an animal in the quarterback. And,
I like that. I like that he said that.
Yeah, because you want to see what kind of character the guy has. Like, is he going to fight? And, this didn't seem like there was a lot of fight with him in that game. But with you saying that and with that happening, you understand it a little bit better.
Exactly. So context is very important. Some rapid fire here. The Vols showed off some new baseball jerseys that they got. I'm going to try to find it here. But they got some new smoky grays, and I swear I had it on here, and I cannot find it. But, here it is. New smoky grays for the Vols baseball team. They will open their season this weekend. So some exciting things for Vols fans. The LA Rams and other Vols news, they have hired Tennessee cornerbacks coach Michael Hunter, a guy that Jim Knowles brought on his staff. So now they're going to have to find a new corners coach. So some more coaching changes for Tennessee. Kelly, I saw this today, and I hadn't really heard this, but I guess the agency that was going to help the Predators with their general manager search, the NHLPA filed a complaint of potential conflict of interest. So now they don't have the same agency.
So do we know what the conflict of interest was?
I have no idea. I tried to find it, but that's all I saw. So my knowledge is pretty limited on that one. But if anybody has any idea, please type away in the YouTube chat, because that was really interesting. Tight end for the Browns, David Njoku, confirmed on Instagram that his Browns tenure is over. He will be on a new team next year. He spent the previous 9 seasons with the Browns.
There you go.
So,
had some ups and downs, had some injuries, man. I watched him play. I thought he was a good player. Sometimes he had the dropsies. But when you're in that league, a lot of times guys do. You get a little confidence problem with catching the football. One of my best friends had that sometimes, and it's not fun. But then, hey, everybody goes through things, and then once you start making a couple of plays, you start making some good catches, then you get your confidence back, and you don't think about it, and you don't try too hard. But I thought he was a pretty good player, and
I thought he was
staying your whole tenure in the Cleveland Browns. But man, you can understand if you got somewhere else to go and you get some money. The Browns have showed over and over just they can't get right. And I don't like it because I was one of their players, and that city deserves more. But man, it's been hard times there for a while.
Yeah, and I wonder too how much of this was injury related. I know he had a lot of injuries in Cleveland, maybe just looking for a change in scenery, and also to Harold Fannin, their 4th-round rookie tight end. He really emerged down the stretch. The truth is, somebody's going to pay for him, and if the Titans don't re-sign Chigakonkwo, I'd absolutely be interested in David Njoku just at the right price. So 49ers defensive lineman Keon White was shot in the ankle in San Francisco. So that's going to be that's tough for him. I believe he's starting his rehab. It might have been like a deflection or whatever, the bullet that hit his ankle. So very sad news for Keon White. And Drake May. He is not going to have surgery on his shoulder. He said, quote, just needs some time off. So,
yeah, supposedly, didn't they? I think I saw an interview with him today. I did see an interview, but I don't remember him saying this. But they were talking about it before the interview that he got shot up before the game.
He did.
In his arm.
Yep,
he did. So obviously that arm was bothering him. Now I don't know if that's what led. I think a little bit of what led to it was the pressure that the Seattle Seahawks front four were putting on him, and then they obviously blitzed a little bit and got some pressure, but they didn't really have to. But when you're starting 2 guys at rookie, and I had one of my coaches today said, I don't care if they're rookies or not. Well, that has a little bit of something to do with it, man. When you're playing guys that are experienced, that have been around. Now, if the rookies are good, that's okay, but they're in the biggest game in the world. Everybody's watching. It's the only game on TV. It's the Super Bowl. That's a tough ask, and he just didn't. He didn't feel comfortable the whole night, you could tell. And there were some plays to be made. He even said it the first pass when he tried to throw that wheel route to the receiver, and he had Stevenson in the flat. I mean, you got to make those plays, and he didn't do it.
I see Tony waiting backstage with his guitar. So something tells me that this next segment is going to be special. We'll get to that on the other side. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. 292-3400.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show. Let's go ahead and welcome in the man of the hour, Tony B. Getting some vitamin C outside. Tony, is it warm over there?
It's vitamin D, babe. Vitamin D is what you get from the sun.
Not vitamin C, vitamin D.
You youngster.
Yeah, you
but
do.
I do need some vitamin C after the winter we've been through. But yeah, I'm out in the park here.
Orange, so.
God, guys, it's so nice here. It's 70 degrees today. I mean, after what we've been through this winter, are you kidding me? No offense, Cal, but you're going to get to see my dome. You're going to see my dome here shining like the sun in the middle of the day, brother.
Tony B, you better put something on that dome, man, or that thing with the way the sun's out today, it'll get burnt.
Brother, it feels good out here, man. It feels good in the hood.
I see you have your guitar. Are you going to play us a song?
I have my guitar because I walk around in the park with my guitar. And my daughter had one of her friends said, yeah, I saw your dad the other day walking in the park. He said he looked kind of disheveled and he was sort of walking in circles. And it's how I get my exercise, how I clear my head.
I need to try that. No, I've never played the guitar in my life, so I'd be terrible.
Man, I love playing. It's my refuge.
Oh boy.
So, Tony, let's go to a place in our minds where it's not as warm, and that's Milan, Italy. What is your interest level in this Olympics, and how excited are you for the U.S. men's hockey team to play?
I'm extremely excited about that. I would be more excited if they would let the Russian team.
Oh, no.
Tony gone.
It's what happens when you're outside and you're trying to do a radio show in the middle of nowhere.
It happens.
Middle of Knoxville in a dog park.
He'll probably call back. Hopefully.
He probably will.
Maybe we'll just get him a call.
I just saw a video, Kelly, of this guy running up a hill with skis at the Olympics. And it makes me want to throw up.
Did he miss his start time or something?
I don't know how you do that.
In great shape is how you do that, brother.
Running uphill on skis at a sub 6-minute pace.
Yeah, that's called being in great shape. That's what that is. And he probably missed his time. Maybe he had a good time last night. I don't know. Too good of a time.
Do we have you back?
He's there.
He's there. Can he hear us? That's the question.
I don't know. It don't sound like it.
He's just staring at us. He can't hear us.
He can't hear us.
This is great radio. Fantastic.
Ring a friend. Ring a friend. Dial a friend.
I see that he is. Look at this. Only Tony.
Can you boys hear me?
We
can't hear you boys.
Can you hear us? No, he can't hear us.
I don't think he can.
Anyways,
gonna have to figure something out here, Parker.
Because I came prepared, Tony, right? Or not Tony, Kelly. We're quarterbacks, right? We audible all the time. We had to audible last week.
That's right.
So
we
until
did.
we get Tony back, we can get into this Charles Bediako stuff if you really want to.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I do, because I just don't understand how all this is going to play out, and it doesn't injustice for the guy. To me, it doesn't injustice for the guys that's on the team. That's for me. And I just don't know how a coach goes through this and all the pitfalls of it. I don't know how he handles this stuff, man, because you're wanting to use this young man and you think you're going to get to, and then all of a sudden the carpet is pulled out from underneath your feet. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
So this is interesting because I just saw from the Field of 68 that Nate Oates is going to keep Charles Bediako on scholarship if he can't keep playing. And I heard that even if he wasn't going to be allowed to play, which he's not, he'll still keep attending the school as a student. But at the same time, I was thinking, when he declared for the NBA draft, however many, 3 years ago, he had just completed his second season at Alabama. I don't think he was ready. I don't think he was viewed as this, high-level prospect by any means. But when you declare for the draft, it is understood, it's common sense, that you forego your eligibility, and then you try to come back 3 years later. I don't know if it's as much of an indictment on Charles Bediako because he's just trying to take advantage of the rules. I think it's more of an indictment on Nate Oates, the coach, for allowing it and trying to get away with it.
That's the question that I have. The question is with the coach. Obviously, he felt like he had some gaps in his team, and he thought the Bediako kid could help him this year. That's obvious. But, there's so many things that go into this. Is he going to fit with the team? How are the guys going to warm with him? Are they going to warm up to him? Or are they going to kind of give him the cold shoulder? Or when he comes in and he takes a guy's starting spot, how is that young man going to take it? I just don't know. This is one of these unknowns that we never thought we would be here, Parker. I don't think anybody that's listening, anybody that's watching, or anybody that's into the coaching in the NCAA or players ever thought that we would be at this position. But look up and, February 10th of 2026, and we're here. I don't think – who knows what's going to happen, and who knows what's going to go on, and who knows all the things that these coaches have to do. And this is just a difficult situation, and you've used him for a couple of games. So, George talked about forfeiting games. Are they going to have to forfeit games? And does that have a reflection on what they do in the NCAA tournament, or do they even make the NCAA tournament? Because this is not a Alabama team that we've seen the last couple of years. This is kind of a middle-of-the-pack Alabama team. So I don't know, man. There's just a lot of what-ifs and a lot of things that are up in the air, I'm sure, for Nate Oates. And obviously, to begin with, he thought he could help him. That's why he brought him back. And he obviously felt like he had some gaps in his team, and maybe this guy could help. But now, what happens now? I don't know. It's a big question.
I'm told that we have the band back. Tony, can you hear us?
Man, I'm sorry. My brother called me from Pennsylvania. It's a long story on my phone here. I'm going to figure out how to do all this. But, yeah, you were talking about Bediako. Here's the thing, guys. The tournament is administered by the NCAA. It is their baby. So Alabama, when they played him, obviously played him in opposition to the NCAA. They could say to them, you're not a tournament team this year, and make an example out of them. If anybody else wants to try this again, we will make an example out of you. That's very possible. on the Winter Olympics, guys, the Winter Olympics are really cool. I don't relate to a lot of those things. Like, even though I grew up in Pennsylvania, I never skied. We were kind of poor folk, you know what I mean? So I would take my sled and get down the hill, and um, and our sleds, like, I was the youngest of six, so the sleds I had like the broken slats on them, the old wooden sleds. They would half steer. You'd ride down the hill and hit the tree, and maybe that's what happened to me.
Did you see? I don't know if this is true or not. Are they going to allow fighting in hockey this year? Because I heard that it's an ejection if you try to fight.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if Olympic hockey, they should allow fighting. They did it last year in the Four Nations tournament, and they had a couple of fake fights when the U.S. and Canada played, and people got all excited about that. What I was saying before I got you guys so unceremoniously dismissed me from your program is that I wish the Russians were playing in this thing,
I do
because that
too.
really brings out the best in the sport when it's best on best. And Canada and Russia and the U.S. and let's go. I think Canada and Russia, though, are probably a little better than the United States, but the U.S. has a formidable team in this tournament.
Yeah, I was actually watching the women earlier, and they're kicking Canada's butt right now. 5-0 is the last score I saw. So
Oh yeah.
it's always great to beat little brother. But I wanted to go back to the Charles Bediako thing and what this might mean for Joey Aguilar, because I know they're kind of the same, but also very different. Joey Aguilar got the TRO last week, good for 15 days. You said that you think he's going to get the extra year of eligibility, right?
Yeah, my attorney here that I have on the air, the great Marcos Garza. Look, they don't issue TROs unless you're going to win your case. Now, the NCAA has work to do. Here's what we don't know, which we didn't know in the Bediako thing, because Sankey never said a word about it. He just, issued a statement that was entered into the case itself. What is his viewpoint on Joey Aguilar getting an extra year? What is his viewpoint on Pavia getting an extra year? He hasn't said anything. And so that creates, a real interesting kind of aside. What is Greg Sankey's take on this? You would think, him being a commissioner, you guys would think that we would know, but boy, he's had a really strange year here, Greg Sankey has.
So I did see that he said something on Bediako. Basically, he was against the idea of him playing, which is, we were all in favor of that. So this was a win, a small win, a very rare win for the NCAA. But if they don't win this thing against Aguilar, is that kind of like you take one small step forward, three giant steps back?
I don't know, because you're dealing with a professional player there in Bediako, and they're still trying to pretend like these sports are college sports, even though we all know they're not. So, especially football and men's basketball, and to some extent women's basketball. There's a lot of money flying around in that in certain spots. But I guess my point is, why hasn't he said anything publicly on Aguilar? Why didn't he say anything publicly on Bediako? I mean, yeah, he wrote a position statement that for the NCAA and against Bediako in that case, but he's the commissioner. I mean, shouldn't he say something publicly? Shouldn't he be trying to be a face of this thing? It's very strange, guys, very strange. And who knows where he is on this Aguilar deal?
I wanted to quickly pivot here to the Lady Vols and Kim Caldwell. And I've been having doubts. I talked to Mark Griffin last week about the system, the 5-in, 5-out, hockey line subs, very high tempo press, lots of threes. I'm worried that it's not going to work. And, given all the rumors this week of, her not letting her players speak in media availability, that raises a red flag to me. What are your thoughts on the situation surrounding Kim Caldwell?
Well, that's news to me on the players speaking. I know they didn't speak the other day. I didn't know that it was at her behest. The thing that's a mess with them is that she recruited. She did very good work inheriting a team last year and getting them in condition to play her system. This year she went out. They're one of the top spenders in the sport. Lady Vols have a top 5 payroll in the sport, and they are getting absolutely hammered by people. If there was a personification of my segment thus far that's been cut down, it would be their basketball team this year, because they're giving you a half, just like I'm giving you a half a segment here because I cut myself off, and so I mean, they're going into parts unknown here. I mean, sure, that once proud program has lost some games, but never like that on consecutive Sundays. The largest deficit loss in the history of the Tennessee UConn series, and then they turn around this weekend and get beat by 43. I mean, they've got Texas on Sunday. What do you do for an encore? Lose by 60 in your building? I mean, it's going the wrong way for them. And the weird thing is, they have a basketball team, again, that they're a top 5 spender in the sport. And they have a team that she wants to shoot 3 balls, but none of her players can shoot. It's brutal. I would love to get in a snowball fight with their team. I think I could win, and I'm 59 years old. Come on now.
So this will be my last one, then I'll turn it over to Kelly. But you lose by UConn. You lose to UConn by however many. Then you get blown out by South Carolina. This stuff is not going to fly with Vols fans because women's basketball is a different breed in East Tennessee. How much longer can this go on?
Well, and the other thing that she's having is she's got Lady Vols out there complaining on social media. And, look, I mean, she's not of the Pat Summit tree. And look, when you hire outside the tree, you've got to get it right. And very little margin of error is going to be cut from her, because there were a lot of people that didn't want Danny White to do that. And not only did he do it, but he took a real risk in doing it. He hired somebody with a pretty thin resume who, it feels like isn't ready for the gig right now. That's what she feels like. Her comments to the press after the game, her telling people before after one of their losses, I knew this one was coming because we came late tonight before the game. Our team got here late. I mean, you guys know you can't say things like that to the press. You just can't say things like that. It doesn't matter what sport it is. Nobody can say. The soccer coach can't say that to the press. Hey, my team showed up late. I knew we were losing. I mean, that's bizarre. No offense to her. I'm not trying to, sounds like I'm coming at her, but it's just bizarre.
So Tony, do you? I mean, this, just going along that lines, is she a good coach? Because everything is modeled. When you have somebody like Pat Summit, who started when she was very young. I sat at a table with her at the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame before she passed away, and I didn't ask her any questions, but just thinking about, she started young. She didn't really know what she was doing, but she built that program, and the Tennessee folks up there love it. Is she going to make it, and do you think she's a good coach?
I mean, if she was a stock, Kelly, I would sell her.
Yeah.
But maybe this is the time to buy her, because she's like at an all-time low in the eyes of people. Maybe if she's a stock, we would buy her. But let's put it this way. I'm not betting on her, okay, to make it. I'm not betting on somebody that, anytime you come out after a game like that, Kelly, you know this, and you throw your team under the bus and you take no responsibility for it, what do your players do behind closed doors when they read that stuff?
Players always know, man. They're always talking, and they always know. I promise.
They always know. That's exactly right. That's a great saying. As a great Watson Brown said, coaches will not fool players. Players might fool coaches, but coaches are not going to fool players.
That's what my agent used to always tell me. Like, players always know if you're phony too. I can remember being in certain situations. We used to sit in there and talk, but if you're losing, you'll listen. If it's a new coach, you'll listen for a little bit and you'll give him an opportunity. But then after that, you finally understand, and players always know if you're phony or you're telling the truth. And I just, like, when Parker talked about her the other day, talking about the locker room, and when you don't take up for your team, you have lost the locker room. And when you do that, me personally, don't think you can ever get it back.
Well, you can in this era, because what you can do is you can run off all your players and have a new roster next year,
True. True.
And so
You're
maybe
absolutely right.
maybe next year you go into the transfer portal, you run off all but a couple of players, and you come back out with a new team, and they believe in you. But the problem is, what happens if they have a similar result, and you get up there and you say, "Hey, these people quit on me tonight." You know, the message, the take home message I got from that was, "I'm great. Look at me, I'm great, and look at them, they suck." You know, that's just not a good look. Not a
It's
good
not a
look.
good look. No, it's not a good look to her team, and it's not a good look to the fans. So let me go back to this. You know, y'all were talking about the lawsuits and the temporary restraining orders and that. Well, why do you think that coaches? I just brought it up to Parker, but why do you think that coaches are allowing this stuff? Because obviously Nate Oates felt like he had a gap in his team,
Yep.
or he would have probably never let the guy come back on.
Yep.
If he had a team like he's had the last couple of years, I don't know if the Bediako kid would have come back. But obviously he felt like he had a void in his team somewhere that he could help. But it breeds and it creates so many problems. And with the Aguilar situation, if you're Josh Heupel, you're trying to throw a dart, see if it sticks, but like there's just so much unknown about what's happening right now. And I'm sure with the Bediako situation coming down, now each state's different. Each state is different. Their laws are different. But like what is Josh Heupel thinking if the same thing happens to him, with Aguilar? Because now he's in the offseason program, and I don't know if they're counting on the kid, or is this just hey, I hope he's able to do this. But why would coaches do this?
Well, you answered your own question. They're going to do it because they want to win. Now, here's the thing
Yeah.
that's interesting about Aguilar. He just had a surgery, right? So he's not
Yep.
able to take reps away from either of the other two guys.
Oh,
He's
okay.
not going to be able to
Yep.
throw the ball in the spring. So you're going to get GMAC ready. You're going to get the freshman ready. You're going to see what you have. And then from there, we'll see how it goes. I mean, that's kind of their play. That's sort of their thought and their play. And we'll see how it goes. But I have no idea. Obviously, Tennessee's come to the conclusion that the known outweighs the unknown. And what he's going to sell to the other two guys is, I believe it's what they're selling them. Hey, look, you guys come in. One of you knocks my socks off here in the spring. You're going to get a dead level chance to compete with this guy for the job, because after him having that surgery, there's no guarantees he comes back 100%. Now, Kelly, he might come back and be 150%. He might be 50% better for all we know. Who knows? But
Right.
it's always in the back of your mind when you have a surgery like that. You get a tumor removed from your throwing arm. I mean, who knows how it all fits and works back together? He's going to have an extensive rehabilitation on that. And from Josh Heupel's perspective, I'm throwing a deep ball here. I'm the deep ball quarterback. I'm the deep ball coach. And if it connects, maybe I get a quarterback that can help me win some games and maybe scratch toward a playoff spot. I mean, who knows? I don't blame any of these coaches, but I will say this: the thing that's different about Joey Aguilar and that Bediako thing, that Bediako guy's a professional player coming back to college ball. The Florida fans were chanting at him, G League reject, G League or G League dropout, G League dropout. And they're right. I mean, how would you feel if you had to go back and play with college kids after you left college, packed your stuff up, and you were a professional? I mean, where's the pride with these people?
I don't think they thought about that, man. I don't think I could do that. I really don't. But my last question here is the last couple of years, Rick Barnes has had an unbelievable team. You can say he's one of the, if not the best, or one of the best, SEC schools. But there's always this one bugaboo that he's had, and it's been the University of Kentucky. And the other night they got beat by Kentucky, and Kentucky's been the perennial power in the SEC for a long time. We understand, but Rick Barnes has kind of got up there, and he's had some close games with them, and he's won some, he's lost some. But why do you think that they're having? It's a tough place to play, obviously, going to Rupp Arena. But is there a mental thing, or? Because it seems like he's had his way with the other programs, even Florida. I mean, Florida's really good, and they've had their ups and downs too. But it just seems like Kentucky's kind of their bugaboo.
Kentucky has won 4 in a row in this series since Mark Pope's been here, but they didn't win last year in the NCAA tournament. So Tennessee got them in the Sweet 16 where it mattered, which resulted in an Elite Eight berth. But I got to give it to Pope. Pope's done a real nice job in these games of coaching the game in front of him, making the adjustments. It should be pointed out that Rick Barnes is the first coach in my memory that won with some regularity in Lexington before this spell had happened. But of recent, this has been just a horror show for Tennessee this series. And this year they've blown 2 14-point leads against them. Each result was more depressing. Each result was more frustrating than the other. I mean, Kelly, Saturday night was just, if you were going to craft on a blueprint how to lose a game, you would have drawn it up the way they did it Saturday night. And I'm sitting here on my call-in show, and those mouth breathers from that Lexington fan base. See, my cell phone is on my website, and somebody published it somewhere, which I put it out there because if people need to reach me for something, they can reach me, whatever. I have nothing to hide. But they blew my phone up the other night, Kelly. I'll text you. I think I counted. I had well over 100 phone calls, several texts from people, things that you can't repeat, things you wouldn't say in mixed company. But I will tell you this, Kelly, I've been married to my lovely bride now for going on 35 years here in March. And I'll tell you this, Kel, I shared some of those texts that I can't repeat on her with her, and she was laughing so hard she was crying. Which is really beautiful, you know.
We had one of those mouth breathers calling yesterday.
There you go.
Here's the deal, Tony. I've got your number and I've texted you too, and you don't even respond, man. So, well. I mean, I guess I'm not on the A list. You know,
Kelly, I'm not responding to any of them either. I call them the mid cats. I call them the mid cats on the air because they have a mid basketball team. They haven't been to an Elite Eight since 2019, and I call them the mid cats, and it runs all over them. I was telling them Saturday night after they swept the Vols, I said, "You guys need to play at Middlesboro High School. You're so mid." I said, "You are the middest of the mid." I said, "You guys are like a warm TV dinner. That's what you are. You're like not even a hot TV dinner."
That's why you got 100 texts, Hoss.
Well, no, 100 phone calls while we were on the air.
Oh gosh, 100 phone calls.
Phone calls.
That's even better.
Phone call. And I picked the phone up one time and I said, "What?" And this guy goes, "Yeah, on the show, you're a piece of garbage. I'll clean it up for you." He said, "Why don't you go eat it?" He said, "Why don't you go eat a bag of D's?" He told me on the air.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Yes, really? Kelly. Yes, Kelly. Yes.
Why do they get that serious?
They're
about
so
that
triggered because Kentucky Nation, they're a bunch of Labrador retrievers, and they need you to pat them on the top of the head and tell them how great their team is, even when they're completely mid. It disgusts me that the Vols lost twice to an absolutely mid basketball team, a mid program, a program that is well past their expiration date. People don't think about them with the Dukes and the Kansases and the Arizonas and the Gonzagas of the world. Kentucky's down there with Indiana. They're yesterday's news.
Nebraska might have passed them.
Nebraska's passed them, exactly.
We need to have Jeff call in with you one day. That would be awesome.
Jeff called in yesterday to remind me about the Houston loss. I'm like, buddy, who knocked you out of the NCAA tournament? I forgot.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. We'll see. Hey, Jeff, you better hope you don't see us in March again, big boy, because you know what's going to happen, because you won't be moving on. I've seen your recent NCAA history.
Tony, how can the fine people of Middle Tennessee find you?
Well, I'm over at tclub.team. I'll tell you one thing. You ought to ask those Kentucky fans. They'll show you how to find me. They know my phone number.
We will. I'll ask Jeff when he calls in later.
Tell Jeff that he's an absolute knuckle dragger and to skip and stay off my phone. See you, boys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Oh my God,
that's awesome! I love me some Tony Basilio, dude. He is not
segment in radio that we've done the last 3 weeks.
He is not scared to put it out there, man. He tells the truth. He doesn't care. I love it. And you're right. Mic drop. Mic drop.
Let's head to the break, shall we? This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve. Here to get you the
Sports
money.
and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a race and sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
You at Sports and Social in Green Hills
Here's
Mall.
Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Really quick segment here on the George Plaster Show. Before we get to the 4 o'clock hour, takeaways from that interview with Tony. One, Kentucky fans, specifically basketball fans, are a bunch of mouth breathers. And second, if Kim Caldwell was a stock, Tony would sell it. I think that is what I got out of the interview.
Parker, that's a tough deal, man, with her when she does stuff like that as a coach and you start selling your program out. Like the kids have lost total respect for you. And, George talked about it with us with Jimbo Fisher a couple of years ago when he was in Texas A&M. They brought him in and they paid him all that money because they wanted something special down there. They've got the money. They've got the facilities, they've got everything needed down there, and you saw that with Mike Elko last year. But Jimbo Fisher kind of lost the locker room. He had one of the top recruiting classes in the country, and you know this. You've been in a locker room when guys start talking, because we always talk. I mean, that's just part of it. We always talk, and we know when a coach is phony, when a coach is real. We always know that, and we always respect or don't respect. And you can tell that. And when you start throwing young men and young women under the bus like she did, and Tony said it right. She gets up there thinking she's holier than thou and mightier than thou, and it doesn't work. And once you lose a locker room, in my opinion, I've never seen anybody get it back. It just doesn't happen, and it seems like she's teetering on that. Now, I don't know anything about it because I've only looked at a few things about the UT program, but that's why I wanted to ask him about the Pat Summitt effect, because when you take over a legendary coach like that, she got that program to where it was, and she got all the people around it. And the alumni are very entrenched in that, and they want that place to succeed. But, he was talking about Kentucky and men's, and you look at what South Carolina's done, what Geno REM has done, obviously. I mean, that dude's won like 41 or 42 in a row now, I think. And nobody's even talking about that. Like he had a few years where nobody was talking about him, and now he's back up to the upper echelon and the best team in the country. But when they play UT, it used to be something, but now it's really not. And I don't know. Those people up there are really they really love the Lady Vols, and they're really passionate about that. And for her to do that and for her to be losing like she's doing, that doesn't bode well for her.
Yeah, because specifically my generation, we don't always respond well to criticism. So if she's lost the locker room, yeah, she could go out and get a new team, but it's kind of like Florida State with Mike Norvell over the last 3 years. You go out and you get an entirely new team from the transfer portal, and you're relying on that. It's like you're playing Russian roulette with the transfer portal. Sometimes it can work out in your favor, and sometimes it can't. I'm not sure that's a risk you want to take. And I get it. She's a very intense coach, but at the same time, you recruit, the Padullo twins who are 5-stars coming out of high school. Do you really want to scare them off? Do you really want to make them leave and go to a different program? Because the future is very bright for them. So it's a mess over on Rocky Top.
I think Tony's right, though. When you've got a team that she wants to shoot 3-pointers, well, you have to recruit people like that.
Yeah.
And if you can't shoot 3-pointers, which they struggle,
right.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it's your system, but you recruit people for your system. And if you don't have kids that are that are in your system, that do good in your system, you have to change your system, because you have to do what the kids can do. And if they can't do that, then why are you doing it?
Very well said and very true. With that, we'll head to the commercial break. We'll open up the 4:00 hour with Stat of the Day, and we'll recap what happened in the world of college basketball this weekend and last night, and we'll preview what's going to happen tonight. This is the George Plaster Show.
Laundry piling up? Make it easier with the latest washers and dryers from Electronic Express. We carry top brands like LG, Samsung, Speed Queen, Whirlpool, and GE. So whether you need an all-in-one unit, stacked unit, front load, or top load, we've got that. With free delivery, the guaranteed lowest prices, and up to 24 months free financing, upgrading your laundry room has never been easier. Find your perfect setup in-store or online, only at Electronic Express. We've got that.
Green Ventures Landscaping works with property managers and business owners who need professional landscaping without the headaches. Consistent crews, clear communication, clean, polished results that show your property is properly managed. Green Ventures Landscaping keeps commercial properties looking sharp year-round, from weekly maintenance and seasonal cleanups. If you manage it, we maintain it. Green Ventures Landscaping. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com, your full-service landscaping and hardscaping company serving Middle Tennessee.
Hey, it's Willie Donick for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. If your home needs an upgrade, start with Pella Windows and Doors. It's wintertime, and Energy Star says you can cut utility bills by about 12% with energy-efficient windows, and Pella delivers that. Their proper sealing and insulation help keep moisture out, preventing rot and costly damage. And installing Pella windows pays off. The 2025 Cost versus Value Report shows homeowners recouped up to 75% at resale. Upgrade smart. Choose Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaNashville.com.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis. Our forecast today taking us into the upper 60s and low 70s. Clouds increase, and after dinner time, some scattered showers begin to move in and will linger throughout the overnight.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Do you ever feel like gambling is causing financial strain or hurting your relationships? The Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling habits for over 2 decades. With physical clinics and remote online appointments, we're here to help you make informed decisions about your gambling. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com so we can work together to help you win back your life. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Brought to you by the Tennessee Gambling Clinic, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Earlier on Clinton and Friends.
Drake May looked completely unprepared. Not only was execution poor, he appeared to be, to quote Sam Darnold back in the day when he was playing the Patriots, seeing ghosts. I understand the young man is not exactly the most experienced player in the NFL. I understand as well that he was second in MVP voting. But ultimately, he just did not have what it takes.
Clinton and Friends, weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. With Arizona losing, Miami, Ohio now has the longest winning streak. But who has the longest losing streak? Oh, yeah, Kelly, this is all you. All you. No one to help you out today.
I mean, you got to give me some tidbits, bro. I mean, this stuff is hard for me.
All right. This is a team that is it is Division I. It is very much one of the smaller mid majors. Makes it even tougher.
Is it out west? Is it in the middle of the country? Is it over towards our way? Where is it?
South. Deep South.
Ooh, deep South. And it's a Division I.
It is Division I. I feel bad because this is a tough one.
Is it I don't know. I don't even know. I just go ahead and put it up there, like Fort Valley State or somebody. Who knows?
State. Well, if it helps, you did get the Valley State part right.
Grand Valley State. Grand Valley State. Is that what it is?
Is Grand Valley State in the Deep South?
I don't know, man. I don't even know where Grand Valley State is.
It's in Michigan.
I don't know that. You were Mississippi Valley State. Wow.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I would not expect anybody to get that one. Not even the basketball insiders.
22 games. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's the home of their mascot.
I think Mississippi Valley State, wasn't that the home of Jerry Rice? Was that his?
Yeah.
I think that's where he played. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know
Mississippi Valley State. Wow. Do you know what conference they're in?
No. The SWAC?
I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. Probably.
You sounded like you knew the answer to that.
No. Had no clue.
All right. Welcome back into the 4 o'clock hour. We just got done with our interview with Tony Basilio. It was fantastic as always. Now we're going to recap a little bit of what happened in college hoops because yesterday was a very football heavy show, recapping the Super Bowl and everything that went along with that. So now we're going to take the opportunity to, it's March Madness. March Madness is 5 weekends away, which is absurd to say.
Amazing. It's unbelievable. Like crazy.
Because the football season is so long, and believe it or not, next year it's going to be a lot longer because the College Football National Championship will be played on January 25th, and you'll have the Super Bowl on Valentine's Day, so it's going to be longer. But now I think everybody, or majority of people's focus is on college basketball. I know the Winter Olympics is still going on, so it's kind of like you got two different things going on at the same time. My focus has been on college basketball, and I wanted to recap what happened over the weekend. I don't know who had the worst loss, Tennessee or Vanderbilt, because Tennessee, you went on the load. You lose to a Kentucky team who, as Tony said, pretty mid. You lose to them in Rupp, but what makes it even worse is you had a double-digit lead and you blew it, but that wasn't the first time that happened. It actually happened again in Knoxville when they had a 17-point lead. They blew that too. So that's now 2 times versus Kentucky you've let that happen. But then Vanderbilt, a team that was 19-3, number 15 in the country, you welcome in an Oklahoma team who had no business competing with you, 11-12, had lost 9 straight games, bottom of the SEC, and you get dog walked a majority of that game, and then you try to fight back, and credit to them for doing so. But at the same time, you put yourself in such a big hole that you can't climb back out of it. So I don't know who had the worst loss because both were pretty unacceptable.
You watched the Vanderbilt game, and Oklahoma started the game that way. They were hot, and they never slowed down. I mean, they were hitting shots. And with my daughter playing college basketball, I've always talked about it. That's the most important thing about basketball. You have to be able to put the ball in the bucket. And sometimes you just play an inferior team. And I feel like the guy, I forget his name, the coach, the Posner guy from where was he from? The Loyola place up in Chicago.
Oh, Porter Moser. Yeah.
Porter Moser, yeah, Porter Moser. He's fighting for his job, I think.
He's probably going to be fired. He should be fired.
Yeah, he's fighting for his job. But when you start off hot like that, and you're an inferior team, and you go into the opposing team's backyard in Memorial Gymnasium, and then you start off the game like that, and you still stay hot the whole game, man. Like it was. You know this, Parker, being in sports, when you're playing a team that they're not very good, and they're not very good. So you come out and you're a little flat, and then they come out and they start hitting shots, and then they keep hitting shots, and they never slow down, and then you start going, oh my gosh, we're in trouble, dude. Like you start trying a little bit too hard. You start doing things that are kind of out of character for you. It's kind of crazy, man. I don't know. I just watched the game, and it was kind of amazing that it started out that way. It kept going that way, and then Vanderbilt got themselves into a situation where they started pressing, and it never got any better. And then you look to UT, and you're right, and that's why I asked Tony that, because you get a mental block of teams in your head sometimes, and that's kind of the way it's been. Tony is right, because Rick Barnes has been able to go to Lexington where, they used to never get beaten. Then he started beating John Calipari, and then he started getting some wins there, and he's pretty much had a go of the SEC. Florida, maybe a little, it's kind of on the same lines as Tennessee, probably, but as Kentucky, but it just seems like Kentucky's got that deal in the back of UT's minds, man. Those guys in their mind, and some of these guys haven't played on the teams. Like Jacoby Gillespie's different. The Ament kid, how do you say his name? Ament,
yeah.
Amen. Yeah. Which, man, he's coming on now. I mean, Sonny Dykes talked about it the other night. He was taking shots, and he was making shots that he wouldn't have made in November. And he's kind of taken over, and Jacoby Gillespie was hitting shots the other night, and they got up big. But it always seems like with Kentucky, they get up so far, but then they can't hold the lead. They have a bad stretch and allow Kentucky to get back in the game. And Mark Pope's done a really good job. George was ready to fire him about 2 months ago.
He wasn't the only one. There were a lot of Kentucky fans that were ready to fire him too.
He's got that team back in contention, and that's what the people of Kentucky, the fans expect. And it just seems a little mental to me with UT and Kentucky right now with UT.
Maybe it is, because you lose 4 straight in the regular season, but then you beat them in March when the first time that those two teams had ever met in March Madness, and you beat them no problem. It really wasn't close. So I don't know what it is. I have no idea, but but some of the losses to Kentucky, I can think of, Tennessee lost to Kentucky on senior day when, you had Josiah Jordan-James and Santiago Vescovi and all those guys. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, those guys, they may have not been the best players in college basketball. They were good, but they weren't like the best, most elite players in college basketball, true VFLs, and you lose to your biggest rival on senior day. Like, just some of these losses have just been so sickening to me. So I don't know. Maybe that is the worst loss. But for Vanderbilt too, going back to their loss against Oklahoma, I get it. Top to bottom in the SEC, it is so physical, and you can never really take a break night in and night out. It may not be as good. The conference as a whole may not be as good as it was last year, but at the same time, it's still, this conference may get 10 teams into the tournament, so which would be the second most. I think on the latest bracketology, Joe Lunardi had 11 teams from the Big Ten and 10 from the SEC, so it's still a really good league. But, and Kelly, too, this might have played a factor into it. When you welcome in an opponent who is probably does not deserve to be on the same court as you, it's easier to stoop down and play to their level. Maybe that's what happened to Vanderbilt.
That is what happened to Vanderbilt. They got and I tell you, that's what I'm saying. Like, Oklahoma came out the game and they started hitting shots, and you think that somebody's going to cool off, but they never did. And they were leaving guys open, and they were popping shots. And when you can do that, it doesn't matter where you are in league standings. If you're hitting shots and you're hitting them consistently in the game, you got a shot to win. And when you're hitting them like Oklahoma did the other day, man, they got on Vanderbilt quick, and then Vanderbilt's like, we shouldn't be in this position right now. But when you're hitting shots and you're making buckets, you get into a situation as you're in Vanderbilt, like, this team shouldn't be on the court with us, but guess what? They are. And now we got to go play, and then you start pressing. It never works out good.
And I'm a little, Vanderbilt didn't have Duke Miles. They've been without two of their guards. I get all that. But at the same time, you should not have lost to Oklahoma, especially in your court. Like, I've been to Memorial several times. Memorial Magic is a very real thing. And I do not understand how, Alabama can come into your building, Tennessee can come into your building, Kentucky can come to your building, Florida, like, even though Vanderbilt lost to Florida at home, Vanderbilt looked like they belong on the same court as Florida. But then Oklahoma, who's the bottom feeder of the SEC right now, walks in and has their way through 3/4 of the game. Actually, they had a double-digit lead until the 3-minute mark with 3 minutes left to go before the game ended. Vanderbilt climbed out of that hole and ended up losing by 1. So I really don't understand how that happens.
I mean, it's kind of the new age of, I used to say it in professional sports, and I said it all year with the Titans, man. When you're as bad as the Titans were, you start off the game good. That's a motivating factor to keep going. But when you're going in the game and you're making mistakes and your offense can't score, defensively you're okay, but you're not very good, there's no reason for you to hang around, man. And guys start, guys don't think about that the rest of the 31 teams in the league are watching this film. And when you're a free agent, you better be busting your chops, because that's a time for you to get paid. I can remember I played with a running back, and he was a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. But when I first went to that team, I thought to myself, man, I just, the things that I'm hearing, I don't see it. And then the next year was his contract year, and he was the best player I've ever seen. The best player I've ever seen. It was unbelievable, and he got paid. And that's how that game works. I mean, we weren't very good the year before, and he knew,
he knew there was some money on the table to be made.
But then the next year, when the money was on the table, I've never seen a guy. He was the best player I've ever seen, man. He was unbelievable, and he's in the Hall of Fame now. But it's just that stuff happens. But like nowadays, when you got these young kids who are transferring all over the place, who don't have to fight for anything, who's getting all this money, and then when water starts coming on board and the ship starts sinking, are you going to fight your way out of it? Well, most of these guys don't, man. They just give up and they say, hey, I'm not playing. The coach don't like me. It's all kind of these excuses. I'm transferring after the year. I don't know. I don't know where we're headed, but I think that's why you see a lot of this sometimes. And I think Mike Byington's got the right team. And another thing, Parker, is what you said is, you talked about Mike Norvell down at Florida State. When that's the thing about this transfer stuff that people and regular fans don't understand right now. When you go to the transfer portal and you bring in 60, 70 new guys, nobody's going to promise that everybody's going to mingle together and it's all going to be great. And that's what these coaches are having to fight with, because sometimes it works, but a lot of times it don't. And that is the new age of college sports, man. And the ones that get it right and that still go about the Kurt Signettis of the world, go after these guys that have been overlooked by big schools and they've got a chip on their shoulder. There's something to be said about that. And if you're looking at what he did, and he was the oldest team in the league, but that's the system now that we're in, you might want to think about that as a coach, because he molded that team together and he got guys that were tough as nails and just wanted to play ball.
It's truth. We could get very philosophical on this, and I don't think we have enough showtime to be able to do that. So on Sunday, just kind of recapping everything, this was on Super Bowl Sunday. Michigan and Ohio State played for the second time this year. Michigan dog-walked them 82-61. Michigan may be one of the best, if not the best team in the country. With Arizona falling last night, they may be. So we'll have to see if that's reflected in the next AP poll or not. Ohio State's actually going to be playing in Nashville on Valentine's Day versus Virginia over at Bridgestone Arena. I would go to that game, but it's also Valentine's Day, and I may get in trouble if I go to a basketball game on Valentine's Day, so I'm not going to test the waters. Last night, Kansas and Arizona, I'm telling you, Kansas is they're legit. Even without Darren Peterson, they beat Tennessee in November earlier in the year, right before Thanksgiving, in that Thanksgiving tournament, without Darren Peterson. And then they beat the number one team in the country, who was previously undefeated, without Darren Peterson. I really think this is Bill Self's one of his favorite teams. And Flory Badunga, 23 points last night. Bryson Tiller, 18 points. Melvin Council, 23. So those guys really stepped up in place of Darren Peterson when he wasn't available. Kansas does not have bench scoring. That's been a weakness of theirs all year. They had 4 points out of the 3 players that came off their bench, and those came from one person, Marco Jackson. But when you're able to get the contribution, they had 4 players with double digits. So I love it. This may not be the most talented Kansas team that we've ever seen, but they play team ball. And how could you not like that as a coach?
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what you love as a fan base. And I say this all the time, Parker. I don't know if people care about the superstars, but like if you got a team that is going to fight you, is going to compete, is going to be selfless and want to win games, that's what you're not going to win every game, but that's what your fans want. That's what people love seeing. And what does that say about the young guy that's on that team? Like you brought him up in a graphic a couple of weeks ago with all the freshmen, like the Cam Boozer kid, and the Caleb Wilson kid, but like for North Carolina, but like that's what people want to see. And I don't think that they care about stars and all that. They want to see guys compete to the end. And when you have a team like that, you can understand why Bill Self is giddy, because his star freshman goes out of the game, but they don't miss a beat, and they beat the team that is undefeated, that is probably the best team in the country, and they come to their place and they beat them. So you got to love that. I watched highlights of that game, man. That was awesome. It was an awesome game. That one big kid that they've got, man, he played well. And they got down in that game and they fought their way back. And that's what wins games, Parker. You know that. Grittiness wins games. And if you got a team like that, you're never really out of it. So you're right. I think you have to look for Kansas to make a run in March Madness.
I was texting with one of my buddies last night who's a Kansas Jayhawks fan, and I said to him, I'm like, this team is very much a national championship contender. And I think there are about 13, maybe even 14 teams that I believe could contend for a national championship in college basketball this year, which is crazy to say, but it also shows you how much, NIL and transfer portal kind of evens the playing field a little bit. So we'll probably have to discuss that at another time as we get closer to March. But tonight, no doubt the biggest game of the night. Number 13, Purdue, and number 7, Nebraska, from Lincoln Pinnacle Bank Arena. I'm very excited about this one because Nebraska, we had talked about their 20-0 start to open things. They lost to Michigan in Ann Arbor, really close game, a 3-point game actually, so one possession, and that very well could have went in Nebraska's favor. And then they followed that up with a loss to Illinois in their building, 78-69. So a tough stretch in Big Ten play for them. After the Purdue game, it does get a little bit lighter. They do have to play Iowa twice, a home and away, which is not going to be easy. But you get past Purdue, and you can kind of start to see the light towards the Big Ten tournament. And then from that point, you get to the NCAA tournament, and we'll have to see if Nebraska is able to win their first NCAA tournament game in school history. But they get Purdue tonight, and Purdue's been struggling a little bit, specifically in the month of January and early February. But this will be interesting to see if one of these two teams has got to right the ship.
Yeah, but Purdue has been there. They got Braden Smith still, and they've been there. They've been in big games. I'm looking forward to seeing how Nebraska handles all this stuff. And you talk about competitive teams. We had their personnel guy on a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about how they hadn't had many transfers in there, and Fred Hoiberg has kind of got those guys going. And you talk about a mentally tough team with guys staying in the program. I think that's why Nebraska is and has done what they've done this year. They've got a tough game though against Purdue, because Purdue is, when you've got a leader like he is, and as the guard and can, dictate a game. He's been to the national championship game. He's been in big games, so it's going to be fun. And I'm just wondering if Nebraska is going to get over that winning a game in the NCAA tournament, because, as good a season as they've had and as tough as they are mentally, that still sits in the back of their head. And, we talk about locker rooms, those guys are talking about that stuff. And we got to get past that, guys. And that puts a little bit added stress on that. And when you come to crunch time down the stretch here, is that going to have an effect on those guys? And are they going to rise to the occasion, or are they going to sit back a little bit? It's going to be fun to see, because the Big Ten is a tough league, man. We all know that. I mean, you talked about maybe getting 11 teams in. So, yeah, that's going to be a good game tonight.
I'm looking at bracketology right now. 10 teams projected from the Big Ten, 10 teams projected from the SEC. So both conferences getting double digits. I think at the very top, the Big 12 is probably the best conference in America. But in terms of deepest, you're looking at the Big Ten and the SEC. So let's go ahead and look at those teams. So Michigan, Illinois, Nebraska, Michigan State, Purdue, Iowa, Wisconsin, Indiana, USC, and UCLA are the teams that are comfortably in the field. Ohio State is on the outside looking in. I believe they're on the bubble. Joe Lunardi has Ohio State as the first team in the first 4 out. So they're right on the cusp. And again, they have an opportunity to get a quad 1 win in Nashville over Virginia. But this game is going to be must watch. 6 p.m. on Fox. I know I will be watching. Going to be really fun. Rooting on the Cornhuskers. I'm openly rooting for Nebraska because we had the Luca Frigilio on, the general manager, and he convinced me. So I've been rooting for Nebraska in basketball when I've been watching them play. They're a fun team to watch. They shoot the leather off the ball. So I'm an offensive guy. Love seeing good offense. You get that with Nebraska. So we're going to open up the phone lines. I want to hear from you. Jeff, I don't know if you want to call in after what Tony had to say about you, but everybody else, feel free to call in at 615-759-9949. Again, the phone line, 615-759-9949. The U.S., they got a 5-0 win over Canada in the women's ice hockey. That's the first time Canada's ever been shut out, I think. So pretty cool stuff. If you want to talk about the Winter Olympics, we're here for it. Or if you want to talk about college basketball or football or whatever you want to talk about, let's do it. 615-759-9949. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Yeah, I know you but we opened up the phone lines, and the first person to call in, Jeff from Murfreesboro. Jeff, how do you feel about the claims that Tony Basilio made that you are a mouth breather?
I don't care. He called Kentucky a tomato can. What does that make Tennessee? I mean, Barnes can't. Why can't people see that Barnes can't coach? He's blown 2 double-digit leads. Kentucky's come from behind 5 times this year and won ball games. Parker Brothers, did you know that?
I do know that Rick Barnes is top 10 in wins all time in college basketball. I do know that. So he can't coach? He's a Hall of Famer.
Because I know Kelly don't. Who's a Hall of Famer?
Rick Barnes.
Who is? Oh, no, he's been a finalist 3 times.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame. And you can call in when that happens.
After 4 times a finalist? How many times?
He's top 10 in wins.
I don't care if he's top 10
in active wins.
What's he won? He's been at Clemson, Providence, George Mason, Tennessee. Providence, he didn't take them to the Final Four. Gavin and Patino did. Clemson, he done nothing. Tennessee, he's done Final 8 3 times. They've lost all 3 times.
He won a pretty big Sweet 16 game over a team in blue last year.
He in the tournament, they didn't make the Final Four, did they? Did they beat Houston? No.
No. He didn't.
How many Final Fours Kentucky made? About 15, 16? You let me know when they make about 15. Don't let me know.
When was the last Final Four for Kentucky?
What's that now?
When was the last Final Four for Kentucky?
When 2012, when was Tennessee or Vanderbilt? What about when Vanderbilt been?
Tennessee hasn't made it, and I know that, but Tennessee doesn't pride themselves on being a basketball school like Kentucky does.
I know they sure as heck know, but they're sure not. I can tell you that the last time we did anything was Pat Summitt. I think she's long gone. She ain't around no more.
What's the standard of Kentucky? What's the standard for Kentucky basketball, Jeff?
The standard is to go to the NCAA tournament and make a deep run. And last year they went to Sweet 16 for the first time in a while. And Pope, during his playing days and coaching, right now is 10-0 against Tennessee. Kentucky has won 4 straight times in Knoxville. It's Rupp Arena South. The last time Tennessee won there was 2022 in Knoxville, or in Thompson Bowling, or Fat Cat Arena, as I call it. 2 fat cats built it. Okay? So, I know you're a Tennessee lover, Parker. I understand the problem. I know you Rocky Top won't ever be home sweet home to me. That's your favorite song. I understand it. But Tennessee debris will always be plain old garbage to me. Good old Tennessee debris. All trash in Tennessee. And I know Kelly can't hear me, but that's okay. He never can. But I want to talk about
this. Kelly's taking digs and he can't even hear you? Wow.
That's what he says all the time he can. But I want to talk about Bediako a little bit. I didn't think he should have been eligible. But, I mean.
That's something we can agree on.
But he's not, and I don't think he should be. But I don't know if he'll come back or not. And I don't think that Aguilar should be eligible either. He's just trying to do what Pavia did last year. That's my personal opinion on that. And I don't think that once you should have 5 to play 4, and that's what it should be. That's my opinion. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. But we'll see, because Vanderbilt's got to come to Rupp and play. And when Vanderbilt can't beat Oklahoma, there's something going on, son. When Boomer soon to beat you. Hey, I can't help that. You hanging there. Clay, hello, son. And hello, Tony and Owensville. Hey, good guy. Good to see you guys.
Thank you for the call, Jeff. Yeah, Kelly taking digs. You can't even hear Jeff.
What was he? What did Jeff? It's amazing. Like, I don't understand why I can't hear Jeff. I'm gonna have to ask Jeff when I see him next time why I can't handle him, why I can't hear him, because he's got a cricket phone or something. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know why I can't.
I'm leaning user error. That's what I'm thinking. So he also name dropped Tony from Nolensville, which ironically is our next caller. Tony, do you have a response?
Well, first of all, hello, Jeff. And Jeff and I've talked before over the past couple of years, and we've agreed on some things. We've disagreed on some things, but we've talked sometimes before. First of all, I want to mention before I forget it, that yesterday I failed to say this, that it was reported that Bad Bunny carried the ball for more yardage than the Patriots had in the game.
I did see that, Tony. I did see that.
Yeah, that was reported. He carried the ball for more yardage than the Patriots. And second of all, talking about basketball, shout out to the Vanderbilt women. They had a big win last night and played quite well against Oklahoma, and that was a top 10 game. And guys, I've been keeping up a lot. I don't know how far they'll go. I hope they get to the tournament. But Austin Peay right now in the A-Sun is tearing it up. They're 11-1. They've won like 8 or 9 out of their last 10 games. They're really on a good run, but there's been times when they've gotten sloppy with the ball, and I've watched them a lot on when I watch them on ESPN Plus, but they've really played well. So I'll give a shout out to Austin Peay, and hopefully they can do well in the A-Sun tournament. It'll be played down in Jacksonville, and hopefully they can get in the NCAA. So
I haven't seen Austin Peay, but I know Belmont. Belmont's going to make the NCAA tournament. They're projected to be a 12 seed right now.
Bradley, they got last night to Bradley. And
they got beat.
Bradley, say again?
Did you say they got beat?
They got beat last night.
Wow. I didn't see that.
And it was played at Bradley, and Bradley was about third place or in the middle of their conference, and they did beat Belmont last night.
Wow.
Good lead on them, and Belmont come back and tied it, took it into overtime, but lost in overtime. They did. So, Kelly, Parker, you always talking about locker room talk and tough talk in locker rooms. I've been in locker rooms many myself. And, you've got to take a lot of tough stuff in the locker room. So right now, this show's fixing to go to another level. And it's going to put your eye black on, pull those shoulder pads a little bit tighter, get that chin strap a little tighter. Because, Eric, yesterday you called me out and said I was wrong in what I was saying about Lindsey Vonn. If you would clean that earwax out of your ears and trim the hair around your ears, you would have heard that I did not talk about Lindsey Vonn not making the Olympic team. She had done qualified for the Olympic team 2 weeks ago. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been at the Olympics going through the ceremonies like she did. Yes, I know she's on the Olympic team. You kept reiterating that I was wrong in saying she did not qualify. She had already qualified. What I was saying, Eric, is when she got hurt on her practice run at the Olympics, that she should have sat out and either let somebody else take her spot if they had an alternate, or if she had a severe injury like she did, she should have sat out. She's been a tremendous Olympian for many years. She's won gold medals. We all know that. But apparently you get your ears bruised when you go up and down the AM and FM dial, listening and talking to every sports talk radio show there is. You watch every outlet. You just get your ears bruised, young man, and you get so, am I taking offense to you calling me out yesterday? Yes, I am. Because I tell you what, you need to wake up and smell the coffee and hear what people are saying, not what you thought they said, before you call somebody out. So I know you're going to call in and have a rebuttal, but you need to go back and listen to Monday's show. I never said nothing about Lindsey Vonn qualifying. She had already qualified and already made the Olympic team. So all I can tell you, Eric, is you've been suspended now from the George Plaster Show caller committee.
Oh, no.
We'll replace you either with Jeff or Kenny the mailman. And so there's a lot of discussion out there. So all I want to say to you, I still like you, but you need to really be careful before you call somebody out and say they're wrong. Go back and listen to the show. And what I was talking about, Lindsey Vonn, was she got hurt in her practice run for her downhill. So I hope you laugh. I hope you're dialing that phone right now. So I wanted to get that ready and say, so we've taken this show to another level. All right, guys. Thank you.
Wow. I love it.
See ya.
Thanks, Tony.
Kelly,
that was
we're
awesome.
unhinged today. That
was awesome,
it
man.
all started. Tony Basilio, he started a snowball effect because he called out Jeff. Jeff called in, and we got into it. He took shots at you, and now we have callers calling in to call out other callers. I mean,
sometimes you have to have some confrontation, man. That gets the blood boiling. That gets things going, man. That gets things exciting. That's what makes this country great, Parker. Like that's what kills me about all this politics that's going on. Everybody gets offended. Like our country was made, whether we're talking sports, whether we're talking politics, we're not going to agree on everything. But like, can't we agree to disagree? Like that's just what it's about. It's awesome, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Man, and
that's what makes the world go round, man. It makes the world go round. To get your blood boiling a little bit. Not everybody's right. Everybody thinks they're right sometimes, but it's awesome when you can air out your grievances, and then we can all say, "Hey, we like each other in the end."
Yeah. Oh man. So our phone lines are still open at 615-759-9949. If you want to call in and continue calling out people, I mean, I'll sit back and listen. George from Boston on line 3. George, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
George, what's up,
great,
man?
George, how are you?
doing pretty well. Have you guys recovered from? I know you guys have had all these power outages, and there's all these just trees down from the storm. You guys doing okay?
Trees are
We're
still
good.
down. I think everybody now has power, which is a good thing, but the trees are still down.
I had to clean my trees up last week, George, but I never lost power, man, here in Murfreesboro, so I'm good, man.
All right. Well, that's good. Wanted to hit on a couple of things. I was watching the Super Bowl this weekend, and one thing I noticed about Will Campbell is there's been all this talk about the size of his arms and everything. I think his problems are different than that. It looks like his hands are really late anytime the ball is snapped. And that's a big problem. And I know that some Patriots fans are talking about moving him to guard potentially or another position on the line. But if his hands aren't fixed, that's a huge issue, because regardless of where they put him, if your hands are late, that's a big problem. You can just get driven back on the offensive line. The other thing I wanted to bring up is I know there's been a lot of talk about this Charles Bediako lawsuit and some of these other NCAA eligibility lawsuits. I think we've got to group these lawsuits into a couple of different categories. I think there's some of these lawsuits that are going after legitimate flaws in rules, like the redshirt rule, for example, where a player can redshirt regardless of how many snaps they've played, so long as they've played in 4 games or less. I think that one has a clear problem, as well as the JUCO rule. But to me, some of these NCAA basketball lawsuits, it really seems like some of these players who got rejected from the NBA are just trying to get more money and extra years. And I just think that's wrong. I think the two have to be grouped separately from each other, because I think when you cross the wires of them all, you confuse some of the legitimate gripes that players have with the NCAA versus some lawsuits where players are just trying to take advantage of the rules. Just curious on what you guys thought about all of that.
George, before you leave, I got a question for you, man, because I know you've called in several times and you kind of I don't know what your occupation is, but you're kind of on the legal edge of things and you understand stuff. But, Mike Organ, who comes on the show with us, and I've been thinking about this, and the NCAA has talked about it. It used to be you get 5 years to play 4. And now, don't you think the NCAA, with all this transfer stuff and all the stuff that's going on, don't you think that the NCAA would help themselves if you give them 6 years to play 5?
Yeah, potentially, or even a 5-on-5 model. Yeah. So, Kelly, to your point, I don't practice in sports law, but I am a lawyer, so
right.
I do follow this stuff closely. And
right.
I think that, potentially, what Mike Organ was talking about, could work. I think what the NCAA should do is really just look at kind of the big picture. I think they're a private organization. They can change their rules if they want to. And I think looking into something like a 6 years to play 5 or 5-and-5 model would definitely help things and kind of just button down some of the confusion and the inconsistency. Because I think players can do a lot of stuff in 5 years, not just at the athletic level, but at the college level. I mean, in 5 years, you can potentially complete a double major. You can start a grad school program for the late bloomers that allows them to get enough tape to try to get to the pro level. And then for the guys who aren't going to be able to go pro, 5 years gives them enough time to kind of earn enough money and figure out what their next step should be. I think the key is placing a clear limit, because if these guys are just going to try to play for 8 years or whatever, that's not going to work. College is supposed to be a limited amount of time. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Kelly.
So George, so saying that, so what do you do with the redshirt year? Do you count that as a year? That's kind of what I'm getting at. Do you count that as a year? Because if you do, then it is 5 for 5. But if you don't, then you're going to get, you're going to get 6 years to play 5. And the red shirt was used to kind of get you more mature, kind of get you ready to play, get you bigger, get you mentally, mentally in the game. That's what the red shirt year was for. So what do you do with the red shirt year if you go 5 for 5?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the redshirt year, I think you've got to do two different things in football compared to the non-football sports. I think in the non-football sports, if anybody plays a game whatsoever, they shouldn't be able to redshirt and the clock is running. I think in football, I think they've got to change it to something that's snap-based. So it's a clean application of the rule. Because right now it's 4 games, which means that somebody could play a ton of snaps in 4 games and then get tagged with a red shirt, where somebody who plays in more than 4 games plays less snaps potentially and couldn't be able to redshirt. That's what really that Langston Patterson lawsuit was all about, because every single one of those players played limited snaps their freshman year, but didn't have the ability to redshirt. So I think, to your point, if somebody gets a red shirt, then that stops the clock. But it's got to be separate, with football compared to the other sports. And I think with football, they should do something that is a number of snaps, because that way you have just a clean application of the rule, and you don't have a situation where somebody has a bunch of snaps played and they can redshirt, where somebody has less snaps and they don't redshirt. If that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. I understand.
George, I wanted to ask you real quick before you got off, because when I played in college, my freshman year, if you even practice, that counted towards a year of your eligibility. So do you think that should kind of be the same thing, or is it you playing a game, then the clock starts running?
I think it should be if you play in a game, the clock starts running, because I think there's a big difference between people being able to practice and train with the team and then actual game conditions. Because there's a lot of players, especially in football, when you have so many guys on a roster, where if they're only practicing with the team and not playing with the team in games, then that their participation is different from somebody who is actually on the field playing. So I think if they're gonna have a clean just version of redshirting, I think if you play in any of the non-football sports, the clock is running. And then in football, I would just change the rule to a number of snaps as opposed to games played, because number of snaps actually indicates how long you're on the football field, whether you're a running back, special teams, defensive player, what have you. That's an accurate depiction of how much you've actually played.
I like that.
Gotcha, George.
Thank you for the call, George. That was great stuff. I love how
all right.
We have these callers that call in that ask us questions, but we ended up asking him the questions because he's a lawyer.
George,
so.
Yeah, George is always called, man, and he's really smart. And I could tell. He never told me that he was a lawyer, but I kind of knew that. I figured that, and that's why I wanted to ask him, because now he's right. Now in the NCAA, it was last year. If you played in 4 games, you could play in 4 games, and then after the 4th game, you get redshirted. Now they've changed it, I think, to 8.
9. No,
is it 9?
Yeah,
it's 9 games. So now you can play you can literally play a whole year. Yeah, you can play a whole year. So you're going to see these coaches use this stuff, and then I'm going to go into the 9th. Well, I'm going to redshirt him. So it's this stuff is crazy, but like George brings a sense of brings a sense of normalcy to all this chaos sometimes, because he is really smart, and I figured he was a lawyer, so that's why I wanted to ask him those questions.
One more quick call. Eric has called in, wanting to respond to Tony. Eric, go ahead.
Hey, I'll say this from this perspective, guys. If I was misspoke or said something wrong, Tony, I will apologize to you, and I'll apologize. But I want to find out this. did Lindsey Vaughn get clearance from a doctor? If she got clearance from a doctor and they told her she was still okay to do that, then I still don't have a problem with it. But if the doctors advised her against it, if she talked to it and they told her not to do it, or she didn't seek medical attention for that or whatever and just went that way and that hurt somebody else's spot, then I'll 1,000% agree with you. But if she went to a doctor and got clearance to do it, then I still got no problem with it. That's my only thing. That's my only caveat. But if I misspoke about you, I want to say I'm sorry and I apologize. Guys, one quick thing and then I'll get off. Guys, I'm sure you've heard, the Super Bowl next year is on Valentine's Day. It's going to be interesting to see with the Super Bowl being Valentine's Day, what the viewership's going to be, or if people are going to really forego the Super Bowl for a romantic night out. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens with that next year.
Eric, I've already reserved Valentine's Day next year. I told my wife, I'm like, hey, we can go on a date earlier in the day, but please, we gotta host a Super Bowl party. It's the Super Bowl. Like, I'll do whatever you want in the morning / early afternoon, but please let me have the Super Bowl. She's agreed, so I'm in the clear. But I don't know about the other guys.
Yeah. Again, this is the tone. If I misspoke about you, I'll say I'm sorry and I apologize. I just want to find out about the whole doctor thing. If she got clarification to still do it, or if she disobeyed order, or she didn't do it, then and definitely took a spot that way, then I'm with you on it. But that's the main thing. I just want to find out. That's all. Guys, y'all take care of it.
Eric, let me ask you something. Don't you think, you're talking about a doctor. Don't you think the doctor probably felt a little pressure because this is Lindsey Vaughn, one of the more recognizable celebrities, recognizable Olympics, and he's not going to tell her no? Wouldn't you think that would probably happen too?
Yeah, it could. It's just going to be interesting. But again, it's no hard feelings. But like I said, if I misspoke about that with Tony, then I apologize. But I just wanted to find out if that was the case or whatever. But the reports I've heard, I don't know about that. Was of course she did qualify, and there was a lot of people just thought that she didn't qualify or that she took a spot, because I know it was all over social media. But if that's the case, then I apologize.
Appreciate you, Eric. Thanks, buddy.
When you're wrong. And I made a bet yesterday, Kelly, that I deeply regret, and I know what I have to do. This is not going to be fun, but you're not going to want to miss it. I'm about to make a fool out of myself. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Green Hills Mall.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Ellie, this is not going to be fun for me.
What's
not
that
going to
now?
be fun for me. This is going to be fun for you. This is not going to be fun for me.
I saw it last night, man. I was pretty stoked when I saw that. I said that one might be the worst of all time.
So I've been applauding, the callers. We had Tyron from Brentwood calling yesterday after, he was talking about, the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl. The Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl. And we tried to tell him that was not going to happen. And he called in, he fessed up, and I applauded him. And now I got to do the same. So yesterday, Brando, just go ahead and cue the music, please. So Kelly, yesterday I made a bet. Yesterday that NC State would cover 6.5 points versus Louisville yesterday. They were playing on the road from the KFC Yum Center. And here's why I thought this. NC State, they had won 6 games in a row in the ACC on the road. They were on the road again at Louisville yesterday. The final score of that game, 118-77. Not in favor of NC State, but in favor of Louisville. So NC State, they were murdered yesterday.
So that was hilarious, man. When I saw that, that was hilarious to me because they got murdered, as you just said, murdered
by 41 points. And add salt to the wound here. Miguel Brown, another one of these star freshmen, 45 points yesterday, a new ACC record. And while he was playing, he made 10 3-pointers yesterday. Ryan Conwell, another great player for Louisville, made 5 3-pointers en route to scoring 31 points. Louisville, 118 points, a new school record for them. And I am left here to pick up the pieces after I made one of the worst bets of the George Plaster Show. And I come on here to own it. And to be honest, I'm scared to make another bet. But as a man, I feel like I can't run from it. So I'm going to try again. Brando, thank you for the music. So tonight, Nebraska takes on Purdue from Lincoln. They have home court advantage. They're the number 7 team in the country, and they're welcoming Purdue into their building, who had 3 straight losses over the course of late January, early February. Am I confident in this? Absolutely not, after the way yesterday panned out. But I am something tells me that Nebraska is going to win this game. Now, if they lose tomorrow, I may just have to give the making bets portion of the show to Kelly, because I will not be able to look at myself in the mirror.
I'm not accepting that, Parker. I'm out on that, brother.
So he leaves it to me. So I guess that I just have to continue to make these bets, and hopefully they go better than they did yesterday, because Lord knows I need some help.
Good luck.
Good show today, Kelly.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
But it was a good show.
I like the let's get going, man. Get some blood flowing. I like it.
Let's put the eye black on. Let's put the shoulder pads on. Tighten them up. And we'll see you again tomorrow on the George Plaster Show.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis. Our forecast today taking us into the upper 60s and low 70s. Clouds increase, and after dinner.